For an entire generation, people have experienced Star Wars the only way it's been possible, on the TV screen. But if you've only seen it this way, you haven't seen it at all. Now, for its 20th anniversary, the adventure of a lifetime returns to the big screen in a way you've never seen before.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
With newly enhanced visual effects,
They're coming in too fast!
THX and digital sound, and a few new surprises.
Hanabuki Barbonyanda.
On President's Day weekend, 1997,
Good luck!
George Lucas and 20th Century Fox invite you to welcome back Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2-D2. Finally, the motion picture event, the way it was meant to be experienced.
This will be a day long remembered.
As the entire Star Wars trilogy returns on February 14th, Star Wars, followed soon after by The Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. The Star Wars trilogy, special edition. See it again for the first time.
The Force will be with you, always.
Today I'm going to talk about the Star Wars Special Editions. I debated on doing this video because when you go into the Star Wars world, it is a massive online rabbit hole of debate, and I really didn't want to get into that because I try not to have my channel as a channel of controversy, especially since I just recently got the 4K editions of the original trilogy. Star Wars, I still call this one Star Wars, because when I was a little kid and it came out in 1977, it was called Star Wars. When it came out on VHS, it was called Star Wars, even though in 1980 they added the tagline Episode 4 A New Hope. Still, the posters, the VHS covers, when it came out on television, it was called Star Wars. In 1997, George Lucas, the director and the creator, I mean, it's his stuff. In my opinion, he can do whatever the hell he wants to do with it. He decided to give the fans a gift with these special editions. Now, I didn't mind the special editions. I love director's cuts. For the most part, with A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, I was happy. And I was especially excited to bring my brother to the theater to see them. Anthony, I am sorry that we didn't get to go see it at McClure Court, downtown Chicago, THX Theater, but we did see them at a nearby theater, the Norwich. And it was incredible. He loved it. He saw them on the big screen. I got to see them on the big screen again for the first time since I was a little kid. And for the most part, I liked the additions to A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. As Ebert said in his reviews of the special editions, which he loved, by the way, he said the changes were kind of subtle. You know, they really didn't detract from the overall feel of the movie. I liked the fact that you were able to pull back on Mos Eisley and see more of the environment, see more of the characters. I did not mind the scene with Jabba the Hutt because as a fan, I always wanted to see that included in the film. It was supposed to be there, but they couldn't do it in 1977 because of the technology. Regardless of whether Jabba looked CGI at the time, seeing it projected on film, he didn't look fake. It was only in subsequent editions that he started to look fake. But when you saw projected on film with the slight touch of grain that film gives, it was able to hide some of those flaws, okay? The least amount of changes was Empire Strikes Back. They didn't really do too much to Empire. They did pull back on Cloud City. They added some activity in the windows in Cloud City, but they really didn't add too much to Empire, probably because Empire had a bigger budget. Return of the Jedi was the one that I remained pissed over. I felt the Jedi Rocks musical number was horrible. And not only that, it didn't fit the period of when the movie was shot and filmed and when it came out, which was 1983. I got this 90s dance pop tune called Jedi Rocks. The original film had a song called Lapti Nek, which it wasn't on the screen that long. I know Lucas said that he wanted to stop the film and have a musical number. I felt it took you out of the mood of the moment being in Jabba's palace. And in retrospect now, taking away Yub Yub or Ewok Celebration at the end of the film, that was not a bad idea in retrospect, because it is a much more somber tone at the end of the film. It's not sort of a children's ending, okay? And I did not mind them showing the other worlds celebrating, because we were going to see them in the prequels anyways. That's another story, which I will not get into. What did bother me is the subsequent additions he made every time it came out on a new format. When they came out on DVD in 2004, he made additional changes to the sound design, and that's where he added Hayden Christensen at the end of Return of the Jedi. I get Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker in the prequels. I get that. But he would have been the age of Sebastian Shaw at the end of Return of the Jedi. And for somebody who saw the movie in 1993, a big change like that does take you out of the film. It's totally different from pulling back and seeing more of the environment in Cloud City and in Mos Eisley. Big change to see Hayden Christensen at the end of the film, knowing he wasn't there when the original film was shot. But that was the big disappointment in 2004. And additional changes he made to the sound design. Further changes were made when they came out on Blu-ray, including adding "No" to Darth Vader picking up Emperor Palpatine and throwing him down the shaft when he finally defeats him. And other changes were made to the sound design. This sort of obsessive-compulsive disorder that George has, it's almost like, as his friend and sound designer Walter Murch had said, he backed himself into a corner and is now trying to back himself out of it. But it seems like what he's doing is backing himself into a further corner by these additional changes. So we're even further away from what they were in 1997, as opposed to the originals. Now, like I said, I don't mind director's cuts, but in Lucas's case, I don't mind the special editions. In fact, I know a lot of fans don't mind the special editions. In fact, in 97, we didn't mind them. We gladly flocked to the theater. We gladly talked about them, at least amongst my friends. The issue that I do have is the fact that the originals are not available in any good format. And the despecialized editions, that's something else entirely altogether. I'm talking about official released versions of the way they were shown theatrically. Now, if only George would take heed from his older brother, Francis Ford Coppola. Apocalypse Now just came out on 4K disc. Here you go, Apocalypse Now, one of my top 10 favorite films. Originally, George was going to direct this thing. In 1979, the movie was 2.5 hours long, originally shown without credits when it was in 70mm. And then when it went to its 35mm widescreen edition, they added credits. Different story there. 2001, Coppola decided to make it stranger, so he came up with Apocalypse Now Redux, making the movie 3 hours and 17 minutes without credits. And now, for 4K, he has Apocalypse Now, the final cut, which in my opinion, as much as the 1979 edition is a masterpiece, the final cut, which is the best of both versions, he felt the Redux version was too long and the 1979 was too short. So Final Cut is a good balance. But Coppola gives you 3 versions on the disc. He gives you the original, he gives you Redux, and he gives you the new Final Cut. All 3 versions of the movie. That way you could watch the original 1979 edition in good quality, 4K, Dolby Vision, with upgraded Dolby Atmos sound. Spielberg, with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He's got the original theatrical edition, which came out in 1977. He's got the special edition, which came out in 1980. And he's got what is now called the director's cut, which came out in 1998. He wants you to have all three versions, and you decide which one you want to watch. Now, the 2002 version of E.T., thankfully, he says I made a mistake with that. So in his eyes, the 2002 version no longer exists. But when the 2002 version came out on DVD, he put the original 1982 edition on DVD as well. Why George will not give you the original 1977 Star Wars A New Hope, the original 1980 Empire Strikes Back, and the original 1983 Return of the Jedi, I don't know. That's my big issue. I want to watch both versions of the movie. There may be a day I want to watch the special edition to see the upgraded visual effects, the upgraded sound, but there may be a day when I want to watch the original edition the way they first came out. I want the option. That's my main gripe with the Star Wars special editions. The subsequent changes he made from 1997, and the fact that he is refusing to give the theatrical editions the way they were originally in good quality. To give fans the option. You know, have your special editions. I get it, George. But give me the originals in good quality. Why is that so hard to ask? Why can't you take a move from Coppola and Spielberg and give us all of the versions available in a nice package? When I watch these from beginning to end, I will do a review of them. When I get the prequels on 4K, I'll watch those as well. No, I didn't get the big expensive Skywalker Saga set that's at Best Buy. Trying to conserve some money during these times. But I'll let you know what I think of these when I watch them from beginning to end. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.